Hey guys, so looking at weed, APH, ACB, IN, EMH, CBW, leaf, and EMC. So we'll start with weed. Daily time frame, we got a little bit of follow through on the bullish reversal candle from yesterday, but a bit of an indecision candle at this point. We rejected from the 8-period exponential moving average. Still just another lower high on the daily, so nothing to change the trend. Hourly was starting to look pretty good towards the end of the day. We had, the big run up. First thing in the day, we hit a nice higher high, and then, pretty healthy consolidation. It looked like maybe it shows up better on ACB, like we were gonna maybe have some kind of bull flag, and then we topped out with a lower high. So hourly is now just a tightening range. We're looking at support of 27.54, 26.98, and 26.87, and below that we'll be looking down from the supports from yesterday. So really want to see a clear hourly lower high. This is sideways action. It's choppy. We're in a tightening range. You can see that the 15-minute, there were some equilibriums that played out. We had our high, low, lower high. We broke bullish, no follow through, and stayed within that range. So we never even closed really above that bull break. It happened, but SPY started pulling back at the same time, and the markets just kept weed down with it. So still looking for follow through. Otherwise, we're going to need to go down on the daily time frame, set a higher low, hopefully at some point, and a higher high. And remembering that all of this is just to set a lower high on the weekly, because we have our high, we have our low, lower high. Maybe this is our higher low, and then still a ton of work on the work to do on the weekly to turn things around, because we're only looking for a lower high. So we have a nice bullish reversal hammer forming on the weekly so far, but we still have a couple days left trading, so we'll see where that closes and how much confirmation we get next week. And again, the trading range is going to get tighter. We had, huge swings of volatility these times. And as the weekly gets tighter, the trading's going to dry up too. The volume's going to dry off, but it is going to provide a really nice look into the long term of where we're heading if we get this equilibrium, and depending if we get a bear break or a bull break as we head into the summer. So it's going to be a patience game. There's still going to be plays to be made, but you're not going to want to force things. Yesterday was really good playing. Today there was even a few good scalps here and there, but you got to be careful forcing trades as we get tighter. So APH, same thing. Didn't even get the test of the exponential moving average. We topped out at 1028 today, and closing a little bit stronger to me than we'd. It sort of dumped a little bit less towards the end of the day. Part of me wonders if APH and ACB and some of the smaller names are a bit less, in tune with SPY, that we will kind of dump along with them, but these ones will follow the same pattern, but not necessarily to the same degree. So again, not really showing all that much weakness. We're still holding our higher lows on the 15 minutes. We've never lost them on APH. So we broke that here again. We thought maybe we'd get some follow through. We double topped basically with the high of the day, 1025 and 1028. And then started to pull back a bit again, but 15-minute time frame has still not lost any lower highs. So still looking good, but that means that the hourly is going to look kind of sketchy, because we had the huge move and there's no clear support to go off of. You can say here maybe 975. We had that low of the dump, 955 is another level. That lines up here, 949, but nothing clear that says, here we are changing the trend. This is just all still sideways, a little bit of unknown. So it really is indecision. So the daily shows indecision, but when you look closer on the hourly really doesn't know what it wants to do. ACB, same thing, rejecting off the 8-period moving average. I think that even hit the 9-period on this one. And yeah, 826, we rejected from 824 was the high of the day. And same thing, indecision. This one, I liked the setup on the hourly a little bit better, because, oh, I know what's happening. was wondering why I didn't like these hourlies so much as I was liking them earlier today, and it's because TradingView is on the 30-minute time frame. Okay, so I'm just going to show for purposes what I was liking much better, which was on the hourly time frame. Was this looked like a very nice bull flag on the hourly, but then we formed a lower high and pulled back, so now we're going to need to form a higher low and see continuation to the upside. That's what I was not liking on TradingView, why they didn't look like bull flags so much. They kind of looked more sideways, and it was because of that. The other thing to note, I took the rest of my profit off of ACB at 8.17 today. I missed my first exit, and was lucky enough that they had a second push up right at the start of the day, and it was because we hit that hourly RSI uptrend line, but basically resistance line that we had hit a few times in a row. So that was my target for the bounce. So I took profit, was happy with it, knowing that the hourly needed to consolidate. So you can see the hourly, it was more here inside bars. We broke bullish, formed a lower high, and then pulled back. So I did get in on that play. I highlighted in the chat room too, but I'll highlight it here again. I was watching this sort of pattern here, and I mentioned that I was watching it, and it did break bullish, and I didn't get in right away because it only had 2 touches at that point, and so it wasn't a confirmed pattern, and so I didn't want to preemptively get in. Now, hindsight obviously 2020, but what can we get this to? Turn off the magnet so we can get this long. So this is what I was watching. I even mentioned, you know, maybe we could get a good entry off the bottom here, 780s. It didn't hit. We broke bullish. We broke that 807. I got in right at 807. And then we had some nice upside, rejected 817, and then tried again, and then market dumped and we took over. So my exit was, I noticed that we had another uptrend line here. So my original exit, when I got into the trade, the plan was that I got in at 807, and my exit was going to be if we break the low here of 792. Then I put this uptrend line on, and then we made a new higher low at 804. So I decided I was going to walk up my stop loss because that was going to keep me pretty close to break even, and I was going to be satisfied with not taking a loss after making, you know, a couple scalps here and there. I scalped it this way till 797, which was the middle Bollinger Band, which was my exit target. So I was happy with that. And then we broke this uptrend line here. We back tested and rejected from it. And we made a higher low here at 807. And so as soon as we broke that, that was my cue to exit. I was lucky there was a little uptake. I did a manual stop loss right at 808. And then we continued to pull back. So that stopped out, break even, no worries, and moving on. But same thing on the daily time frame. So weekly isn't daily and weekly time frame, which is that we don't really have a direction right now. And because we don't have a direction, that leans us bearish because this is just another lower high. So it'll depend a little bit on what the markets do and a little bit on what we see. Volume is nothing notable. I mean, you look at the breakout volume here. This volume, even on the bounce yesterday, is nothing compared to the volume that we were getting before. So bulls are still struggling to find their way, and you know, we're in historically seasonal downtrend time. We did have those kind of pops before April 20th last year, so looking to see if we get any pops, but just being protective of our trades because there's nothing really bullish about this chart other than oversold bounces, although the oversold bounces have been excellent gains. So weekly time frame also, same thing. We have a really nice bullish reversal hammer. We want to see it confirmed and try to go up and set a weekly lower high. I would love something around, you know, that 1025 always seems to stick out in my head for ACB, maybe some kind of magnet for me, but you know, in that 9, maybe the weekly Bollinger Band, but we need to start seeing the daily turnaround, get some higher highs just to see the weekly set a lower high. And at this point, it's not an equilibrium pattern like it is on weed. If we get those highs, not saying we do, we could easily just go lower. Like I said, there's gaps to fill, there's other plays to play. So not trying to predict anything, but if we do, you know, something visually around 10 stands out to me. We also had 950, that was that double bottom. So, maybe a back test of that if we can break to higher highs. Those would be kind of my targets. I'm keeping it pretty conservative just because we are in a downtrend. I'm only looking for a lower high, and I don't want to, shoot the moon here. So that's where we stand. EMH, even weaker today. We had essentially a double top, 431, 432 with yesterday, and closed near the low of the day. The low of the day was 402. We closed 408, so 402 support. And then hourly time frame, we are looking at 396 and then 381, 375 the lows. So you can see we had hourly kind of a bear flag and a little bit pullback further. Things that I would be looking for to hold if you were in a bullish position, or if you wanted to make an entry with a close stop, you could do it on an RSI trend line if you're so inclined to play that way. There's no bearish divergence on this one. We does have that bearish divergence. If we look at the hourly time frame, we can see that we did not move higher here compared to here. So we'll just draw that out. We still have that divergence here. So we need to keep that in mind as we're playing, that the RSIs are not really in our favor right now. But again, if you're looking for entries or looking for quick scalps, these are nice, pretty easy entries that you could just exit if they break or close below it. You could pick a few cents lower than your stop to keep it pretty close and see how they play out. And of course, always watching, 5-minute RSIs and different time frames for that. Weekly time frame. Sorry, so that's daily, nothing confirmed. Getting pretty tight though. Daily, here we kept our higher low. So, there's going to be a clear break soon as the daily gets tighter. So that'll be some nice indication. And if you want to take a closer look at that, probably the 4-hour is going to show that really nice. We have our low, high, higher low, lower high, and now we're going to wait to see that break. CBW. Another name that didn't set a lower low on the daily. It did break the February dump lows by 2 cents, but trying to really hold that line of 133, 135 here. We got to 139, but again, no confirmation from yesterday. Inside bar on the daily, so resistance is going to be 147 and 149, and then we're looking up at 160, and middle Bollinger Band is going to be right there too. Weekly time frame. Same thing as everything else except weaker. We had a bullish reversal candle last week that did not confirm, so we're working on an inside bar this week. So something to look for next week if we can confirm that. Leaf had the kind of day that we were hoping the others would have. So it had its bullish reversal candlestick yesterday, closed near the high of the day, and really good continuation today. Volume stayed in line with yesterday's, which the others, a lot of them were much lower. So Leaf looking a little bit better. One thing I will note is that it's hitting daily RSI resistance, and it's probably pretty overbought on the hourly time frame as we approach the middle Bollinger Band. It did break the lows of, let's see, 1482, 1457. It did break the low, so we are coming straight off the low. So it's not like Cron is, where Cron was one step ahead because it had held the lows and made a higher high. Leaf did not. It's coming straight off the bottom. So let's check out the hourly time frame because it's going to need a little bit healthier consolidation. We're getting to an RSI over 70, and so we're looking at 1702 resistance, and we have a few supports established here, 1646 and 1596, but quite a bit stronger than the other names, making a nice move, increasing bull volume to end the day. Last one is EMC. EMC is coming straight off of all-time lows, so there's nothing much that I like about the chart. This could be, a bear flag if we reject from exponential moving averages again. Weekly time frame has so much work to do because we are just breaking down every time further and further. We can't hold any lows. There's no support. So 118 is low, and then resistance is at 148. Have a good night, guys.